right, so this is Mardu Knights, which is basically red, white, splash, black Knights. We've got Stormfist Crusader here is the only black card in the deck. It's a really good aggressive 2-drop between Menace and its ability to keep your hand full. Things like Tournament Grounds, Unclaimed Territory, and Concealed Courtyard and Mana Confluence give us easy splashes to black mana. This deck, in addition to having a Knight sub-theme for Inspiring Veteran here, also has a Humans sub-theme for Thalia's Lieutenant to be another Anthem-style effect. So off of our 14 aggressive 1-drops, all of which are Humans, and some of which aren't Knights but are still Humans, we've got Inspiring Veteran, Benalish Marshal, and Thalia's Lieutenant as ways to pump them all up. We've also got a few copies of Embercleave here at the top end of our curve, which allows the giant Thalia's Lieutenant to punch through chump blockers. We also have a couple of copies of Acclaimed Contender here, which can give us the ability to find our Embercleave more consistently or just generate 2-for-1s. Worthy Knight, while it doesn't generate Knight tokens, does make humans, so these tokens trigger Thalia's Lieutenant or get buffed by Thalia's Lieutenant, which is great. So let's go ahead and dive on into a Pioneer League here with this one and see how it goes. If I miss recording the intro by mistake, I have to export it all from Twitch, and then it takes a lot longer to publish. So the reason why my YouTube videos have started publishing almost immediately after I stop being live for the day is because I am uploading to YouTube midstream. So, like, my internet's fast enough that, like, the Storm deck we just got done playing is already fully uploaded to YouTube, and it's waiting to process now. So that way, when I sign off for the day, I can just open YouTube and format and publish. Easy mulligan here on the 5-lander. Yeah, that seems fine. Bottom of plains. Kind of want to draw another 1-drop here. Okay, so now here's a real question here is, do I lead on Venerable Knight or do I lead on Giant Killer? I suppose there's a good chance this just dies. So I think I'm going to lead on Venerable Knight. This was a Knights build around, so someone asked me to build my preferred iteration of Mardu Knights in this format, and this is what I ended up putting together. Good chance this dies. If you have Clifftop Retreat, then the Plains is better than the second core. I don't think I have Clifftop Retreat in this deck, right? Don't believe so. No, 0/0 Clifftop Retreat. I'm playing Battlefield Forge because I want my lands to be untapped on turn 1. So my mana, all of my lands, I'm playing 22 lands and all of them are untapped on turn 1. A lot of this deck is standard legal stuff with better mana. Now the bad news for us here is I'm not sure our deck can ever beat a Goblin Chain Whirler. Although I guess this goes a long way towards potentially beating a Chain Whirler. Pumps up the jam. Whirl this one. Yep. Bonecrusher is ready to kill us, chat. Feels bad, man. This is exactly the type of matchup that the red mid-range deck wants to play. The good news is we get to Giant Killer the Giant, which is good. It's good thematic. Sulphur Springs. I don't know what that land is. You're not gonna get banged by that one and be dead. right. This is probably an experimental frenzy matchup. Feel like our opponent's going to be killing a lot of our stuff here. I think I'm going to trade out Embercleave for that. Giant Killer sounds good. I think I probably want to trim Fervent Champion. I'm going to bring in some Deccan Stones too. I guess I don't want to go... I don't want to go too interactive. Like I am still an aggro deck at our core. And I wonder if this is diluting too much. That's probably fine. I have 32 creatures still. Let's try this. Red, black, pain land. Allied pain lands are not legal currently, no. Yeah, Soulscar Mage is very likely out of their deck. I agree with that. Yeah, Sand's great. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gonna push them right out the door. 5, 6, 7, 8. I also don't think this deck would play a red black pain land if it had it. We're playing Benalish Marshal. So like we're trying to, in fact, not that Twitter is ever useful or you should spend a lot of time on it. There was a response to me tweeting this deck list on Twitter where someone's asking about their tweet is implying that Stormfist Crusader and Benalish Marshal shouldn't be in the same deck. And statements like that tend to be bad because what spells you can play in your deck doesn't dictate what spells should be going on. What your mana looks like dictate what spells you can be playing. So as the mana in this hand shows very clearly here, it's not a problem to curve Stormfist Crusader into Marshal. This deck, every land in this deck makes white mana. And we have, how many red sources? I think we have 16 red sources. This is 9, 11, 15. There's 17 red sources in this deck. Yeah, the mathematically correct mana bases are my kink. Listen, all about mathematically correct mana bases. They're my jam. Alright, so I'm going to offer to trade the Dauntless Bodyguard for the Gifted Aetherborn here, I think. Stormfist Crusader has menace, so it guaranteed gets through. If they trade with the Dauntless Bodyguard, they can't trade with Inspiring Veteran next turn, which is ideal. So they're going to go to 12 here. Don't Sweltering Suns me, bro. Cry of the Canarium. All right, I'm going to go ahead and concede. Decks like this are largely about, just like hoping your linear game plan is good enough that your opponent doesn't have it. And when the interactive deck lines up well, they're going to beat you most of the time. Just how it works. Mana feels like it's running a little extra slow. It's only using 2 gigs of RAM, though. Weird. Oh, Windows. Why does my operating system use 2 gigs of RAM? Why does my operating system need 2 gigs of RAM? My VM is using 4 gigs of RAM, and literally the only thing it has running is Magic Online. I don't even have any antivirus or anything like that installed on this because it's just a VM and all it does is play Magic Online. Yeah, Selfless Spirit would have helped us against Cry of the Canarium there. It's a good suggestion. It's a good suggestion. Thanks, Twitch chat. I appreciate you. And this is, you know, some unfortunate matchup variance here. Like I said, I think red mid-range is probably a really bad matchup for us. And that's one of the decks that's been kind of an up-and-comer in this format. Been putting up a number of results in preliminaries and like the random Magic Online events. I think if that's a deck you're expecting to play against, I would not recommend playing these white aggro decks because Goblin Chain Whirler is just a huge beating. The problem with cards like Selfless Spirit is that the decks that are playing sweepers also frequently have spot removal. So like, there's still going to be a lot of situations where it just still doesn't line up well, and it's a card that doesn't synergize with what the rest of our deck is doing, and there's various sweepers like Languish and Cry that also just don't care about it. Selfless Spirit is fine against like exactly Supreme Verdict, but I would wonder if this deck actually has a problem against Supreme Verdict decks. I'm not sure offhand if I would expect it to, would be my question. I also, again, if it's only good against Supreme Verdict decks, it's kind of a narrow card. Am I interested in having it be a narrow card? Thanks for the 31 months, Steve Brian. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think if you really wanted to play an anti-sweeper card, Boros Charm is a card you could consider. But I don't really think that that's a good way to, like, holding up mana for that kind of sucks. Was really hoping to draw an untapped land here so I could go Worthy Knight plus Inspiring Veteran and make a token, but alas, we missed. A Soulscar Mage, just like, kill your thing, attack you for 2, kill your thing, attack you for 2. This worked out really well the first 4 times we tried it, so I expect it will also go fantastic now. Fifth verse. What's the definition of insanity? It's the part where they like Bonecrusher it and then untap and play a 4/3. Just Lightning Strike. Weird. Weird. I mean, their deck plays a ton of removal spells. So just being like, they drew all their removal spells, like, well, kinda. Like, their deck is like red Doomblades and like, that's a large part of what their deck is doing. All right, so in an aggressive matchup like this, Stormfist Crusader's coming out. I think we bring in Frenzy and Bonecrusher Giant. Giant Killer. I guess they could be a bigger version of red. Maybe. I think I want some Deccan Stones here. Getting paired into a bunch of Chain Whirler decks is not an ideal outcome for what we're trying to do here. Formats like this where there's deep card pools and lots of different playable decks, especially in tier 2 decks like what we're working on here, matchup variance definitely is a real thing. You can't make your deck good against actual everything, just have to hope to dodge sometimes, which unfortunately makes some sense where we're playing against random matchups. Kind of bad television on occasion if you just run into the thing you're hoping to dodge a bunch. Yeah, the bigger red decks play Soulscar Mage. They could still be a bigger red deck. Some of the bigger red decks don't play Lightning Strike, so I feel like Lightning Strike could imply they're the smaller build, but could be either. I wouldn't be surprised with a more mid-range build. I would not be super surprised to see like Glorybringer happen this game. This is queuing into Esper Historic Decks of the day, yeah, basically. So I expect Worthy Knight to die here. We'll get to play a land, and then Marshal attack them for 3. Bonecrusher is just so good against us. Now, speaking of good, Embercleave is phenomenal here. So hopefully their play next turn is just 3rd land, play Bonecrusher, and then we get to attack, they'll block, we'll cleave. That's unfortunate. Well, you know. Womp, womp, womp. Magic sucks and then you die. Mutavault and Visium Mortars are cards that imply they're playing the bigger build. Wonder if this is going to kill the knight here. Well, I mean, all things considered, that was like the best draw on our deck, right? It's a card that kills their Chandra and then deploys a threat that I can Embercleave with, so hard to be too upset with that one. Please don't bang my Bonecrusher. Well, I mean, request granted, I guess. So our best draw at this point is probably Experimental Frenzy into land 2-drop. Or land 1-drop, 1-drop. Rebel Master kills us very quickly. Yeah, we're very dead. Mardu Knight's currently looking to try and set the land speed league record. Yeah, at least 2 more shots here before we're out of contention for prizes. We started 0-2 in the Storm League and then rallied back, so see if we can do the same here. Yeah, the red decks are especially good against what this deck is doing because against things like blue-white control or even Esper, a lot of their removal is more expensive than our cards, whereas like the red decks have an incredible amount of very efficient removal. So they get to trade even on tempo with most of our threats, which means we can't keep up. So like decks like this are fine against interactive decks that are playing more expensive removal, but against decks that have lots of cheap removal, like we have lots of cheap creatures, we get run down. The Storm deck was fun. Generates a lot of fun puzzles. We had a lot of turn 1 draw 7s and random kill yous and stuff like that. Morning, Jace. Hey, Beast 2 Burden. Thank you for the 10 months. Easy mulligan here. Need some lands to play Magic. This hand's not stellar, but it's to keep. I'm going to bottom of Thalia's Lieutenant here. No 1-drop in our deck with 14 1-drops is sad, but definitely not going to 5. When I say land speed league record, I mean record when the league actually gets played, not me losing twice and then dropping. Which guild would I be in? Probably Izzet. I feel like the Izzet guild is most likely to be full of Linux users. Okay, Phoenix. This matchup will be entirely centered around whether or not they get and flip Thing in the Ice. It's our single most important card against us. Yeah, for not having a 1-drop, our curve is super reasonable. Got to go 2-3 into 2-2 here. I wonder if they have a Lightning Axe or not. Feel the burn. Thank you for the 19 months already in. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. They do unfortunately want to access a question. My life is gone. So long, Marshall. Yeah, a lot of these Phoenix decks have been cutting Thing in the Ice for Young Pyromancer, which is good for our deck in this matchup for sure. Hey, Pilot Ninja, thank you for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Air Cleveland is nice this time of year, opponent. What do you think? Let me know how it feels when you get there. Don't spell pierce me, bro. Ohio. I mean, it's purely a metagame call, Zajad. There are decks in the format where Pyromancer is much better. There's decks in the format where Thing is much better. The actual answer is that you're probably supposed to have a mix of both in your 75. Like, Pyromancer is much better than Thing against green ramp and blue-white control, and it's much worse against red aggro and black aggro, like you said. Definitely think it's much more nuanced than, like, this is always better or always worse. I think which one you play main deck is probably pretty marginal. It's a shame Embercleave is legendary. Marshall. To me, rally the troops. Rally the troops. And now I get to attack with both, because if they triple block this, they die to Inspiring Veteran. Hey, thanks for the 10 months, Elemental Whisper. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. So they go down to 1 here. We have a number of good tools for this matchup in the sideboard. We got Declaration in Stones and Rest in Pieces. So, something we've talked about before on stream is the psychological aspect of Magic and how aggro decks feel bad to play and control decks feel good to play. And similarly, I think people's testing is often biased because of these psychological reasons. So to give an example in the context we're talking about, the decks that Thing in the Ice is good against are decks that when you lose to them, they kill you quickly and it's not memorable. Whereas the decks that Thing in the Ice is bad against are decks like blue-white control where the game gets dragged out. So the matchups where Thing in the Ice are bad are long and miserable. And the matchups where Thing in the Ice is good are short and forgettable. And the inverse of that is also true, right? Like the matches where Young Pyromancer is bad are short and forgettable, and the matchups where Young Pyromancer is good tend to be long and memorable. So I definitely think there's a cognitive bias there over which of the two you prefer to play. But the second Cleave in hand, they should hopefully be dead here. I was like, why are they fiery tempering my 4/4? Because this is gonna die, which will then mean this dies. So let's head to Cleveland here. So play young Pyromancer so you won't remember when it's bad. Got it. Yeah, exactly. You get it. So they need to have another burn spell here now. If they have another burn spell on their 3 cards, we could be in trouble. We will be in trouble. Yeah, if they have another burn spell, we are going to lose the game. Because they'll get to kill Marshal, and then they'll double block Thalia's Lieutenant, and I'll have basically nothing. Oh, Shivan Reef kills them. Yeah, sick. Okay, so the fact that that's a pain land means they're dead. I was thinking they could cast a spell with that. You're right, they can't. Good catch. So Deck in Stone and Rest in Peace both seem good here. Contender's probably a little slow. Although getting Embercleave is one of our best cards in this matchup, so maybe I'm supposed to keep it just because it gives me more Embercleave density. Let's try this. Is he Thing in the Ice? Do we bring back in the Giant Killers? I don't think so. Like, you don't... I'll probably bring in the Conclave Tribunals if we see Thing in the Ice. Like, you need to stop Thing in the Ice before it flips over. Once Thing in the Ice flips over, I think it's too late. You know, thinking about Thing in the Ice... I don't know what randomly caused me to think of this, but I really hope they add Thing in the Ice to Historic, because I really want that card to have an animation. I don't know what the animation will be, but it's gotta be awesome, right? When that card transforms. This has gotta be a mulligan, right? Mana Confluence is my only land sucks, so I need to draw a second land too. I don't think I can afford to have Confluence as my only land in this matchup. The sand's also not good, but we're at 5 cards, so, you know. Just gonna die anyways. Might as well play it out as a 1/1. Quite the temper there, opponent. Quite the temper. My Kingdom for an auto-tapper. An auto-tapper that works. My Kingdom for a Theros Circa auto-tapper. Well, the good news is we're currently under no pressure, so we got that going for us at least. Something's wrong, your 3-drop died to Fry. Oh no. This is the part where they like 1-for-1 us a bunch and then cast Treasure Cruise and we can just never catch up. Our deck doesn't have card advantage in it. Pretty sure this is not supposed to be a... Experimental Frenzy matchup. But definitely would love to have it here. What time Thursday is Theros going to be in Arena? I believe it's 10 a.m. Central, but don't quote me on that. I'm hoping to be streaming about 10 a.m. Central. I'm planning to go live about my normal 8 a.m. on Thursday and do one Pioneer League to start the day. $1,500. What is that in real people times, Trax? I mean, I'm an American. I need you to spoon feed it to me. Give me it in PST or EST. Please and thank you. $10 a.m. Eastern. Oh, that's even sooner than I was expecting. It's 9 a.m. Central. Perfect. I believe noon PST the following day is when the ban's going to affect Iggy. So that's approximately 4 hours from now. UTC, I'm gonna need that in freedom time, yep. Yep. I think we ditch Embercleave here. Definitely just want as many threats as possible, and Rest in Peace is valuable here. I wonder if Grey Merchant's gonna have an animation. It better. That card's gonna get cast a lot. It better have gotten an animation. It better have a borderless option, too. Dear Wizards of the Coast. CVs, thank you for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. So our ideal draws here are land, both untapped. So we can go Marshal into double veteran attack for 5. Marshal. If we miss on the land, we'll probably play second Marshal. If we draw a 1-drop, we'll play veteran 1-drop. The red haste 1-drop would be real good. That's fine too. So opponent bricked on their land after drawing 4 extra cards. Feels Magic Man. Fingers crossed we don't get Sweltering Sun here. If we don't get Sweltering Sun here, next turn our board is outside of the range of a 3 damage sweeper, which would be stellar. Does Rest in Peace? It does not stop Madness triggers. Tearing us apart, chat. They're tearing us apart. Look how they massacred my boys. I guess it makes sense that they have a bunch of spells, though, right? They don't have lands. That means they currently have 5 spells in their hand. All right, third chart, of course, is the charm, apparently. We've been a treasure cruise and an arc light so far. It's good for us. Rest in peace, doing a little bit of work there. Second Phoenix, yep. I'm leading on the Stormfist last just because I don't really want to feed my opponent potential lands if I can avoid it until later. This puts them down to 9. They have 8 power in play, which is great. Every time we hit them, their Ship and Wreath becomes a bit worse, which is good. They have another Wild Slash or Arc Lightning here. Yeah, it's real bad for us. I guess I do this. And I hit them for 2 and make my other knight a 3/2. Do uncommons even have animations? So the Lord cycle of uncommons from Innistrad had animations. Oh, rest in peace turns off Venerable Knight. Oh no. Look at our combo deck. This is good. This is good deck building, chat. Good clean deck building right there. All right, if they have an opt, we get in trouble, but if they don't have an opt, this attack is good. I just have another Wild Slash, sure. Wild Slash is why we attacked before casting our spell, because if I would have cast this pre-combat, they could have Wild Slash this and then blocked the 2/1 with the Elemental token. Yeah, there are a number of uncommons that have small animations. Yeah, I really hope Gary has an animation. I think it'd be a pretty big miss if he ends up not. I think I'm just passing for the turn. I'm gonna wait to push here. I don't think I'm willing to trade Crusader for Young Pyro plus the Elemental. Javier is here to carry us to victory. His trusty steed. So next turn, even if they kill something, we can still Embercleave, which is nice. So we have 4 mana. Let's push through those last few points of damage, potentially. They have 5 cards in their hand, though. They've played 3 Wild Slashes and 2 Lightning Axes, so hopefully they don't have a way to kill Crusader here. Brutal. All right, Javier. Get in there. Ship it. It's a Drake. Yeah, it's a Drake. They didn't want to tap the Pain land. Oh, Phoenix on defense, sure. Untapped land. Sick. Sick! Cleave ho! So you get to exile their burb and put them to 2 here. Double Strike Trample's real good. It's really interesting to me that they finally printed another good equipment post Batterskull, and it ends up not being a, what's the word I'm searching for? They finally printed a good equipment, and it ends up not being playable with Stoneforge. I was looking at your deck queue. Is Arena dying? My Arena numbers have been very, very mediocre lately, DMS. And anecdotally, I haven't dug into it too deeply, but the only Magic streamers that are consistently putting up big numbers currently are Newmont and Caleb Durward while they're streaming Vintage Cube. Although Croaky's hit good numbers during the MCQ on Saturday, but he blazed out of that relatively quickly. I currently have, in the last year and a half that I've been doing standard content, I currently have a record low number of standard decks for a new set coming out on Thursday. I think it's more than just stale standard, because normally there should be more excitement surrounding new standard. This was a longer period between... It wasn't, actually. It's just felt like an eternity because it's been that bad. Outro to Pierce. Thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Another relatively interesting metric surrounding my own information, and this would be interesting. I actually kind of want to compare this to other people. What other people's metrics have looked like is the number of followers I've been gaining per week or month on Twitch is way down in the last couple of months. Like, it was very strong and steadily going up for a while, and then it just kind of tapered off in a very, very, like, off the edge of a cliff manner. Thanks for the 2 months, Mr. T-Rex. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, don't call it a comeback. We're 1-2. Let's see if we can scrape our way back in. When did the follower drop-off happen? I don't know offhand. I need to go back and look. I don't like to make up stuff for things I can have metrics for. Yeah, and at the end of the day, Juju, like I've often talked about on stream, like random follower counts and people following or not following doesn't really turn into revenue. And I am actually considering that viewer count has dropped. Yeah, considering that the viewer count's dropped off a good bit around arena stuff, my sub numbers have... It's hard to click the follow button as an elk. My sub numbers have stayed pretty constant. I had a small drop off in sub count, but that was largely related to the fact that I asked Hoaglandia's whales to stop gifting subs as their preferred form of currency. So the number of paid subs has been pretty constant for the last year. And the number of Prime subs fluctuates a little bit month to month, but even that's been relatively steady. I'm not super worried about it, all things considered, unless Pioneer starts to drop off. Like, people who are newer to the channel, I saw some people comment they've been here since we were doing primarily Modern. Like, I hit full-time streaming before Arena was even a thing. So, like... So long as there's interest in Moto and Pioneer, I expect even if Arena goes the way of the Dodo, I'm going to be here doing this as a job. Quintivis, thank you for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. To give some insight into my own background, or my own metrics, the number that makes sense for this to be able to be a job for me is about 1,500 concurrent subscribers in a month. And I'm currently at 2,300 or so. So we're Still well above that threshold, so I'm not really too worried about it. Looks like green ramp with maybe Tireless Tracker main. I'm about to get Walking Ballista. Ugh. This card is so brutal. Pretty punished for not leading on Marshal here. Or not leading on. I didn't have Veteran, right? I guess it doesn't matter. I was going to get punished regardless. Thanks, Juju. Yeah, I think that's part of it too. I think part of it's the community we built up too. I don't think you're definitely not the only one I've heard that from, where people are like, they've moved off of Magic a little bit, but they still enjoy hanging out here, which is great. It's kind of variety streamer-esque in a way, right? Like, people came for the Magic, and now a number of them stay just because I'm me. Thanks, Barbaric. Yeah, I plan to dip back into a little bit of Modern too. I actually added a Modern deck to the queue with some of the dealer's choice points that I saved up. So I put the Saheeli deck back in because my drug of choice is unplayable creature combo decks. I used to consider myself a good non-sub. I was a little sad when chat went sub-only, but then I realized most of the stuff I was typing was correcting other non-subs. That's an interesting thing to think about. Well, I mean, our squad's getting rather swole here, so we might have a shot. The fact they attack with this tracker is interesting. Like, this is a good example of the linear draw that we're able to put out, especially considering they interacted with our turn 2 play, huh? Lizadio! I will now accept one Hoglandian adult beverage, please. Thank you for the 21 months. Hoglandia is a very progressive nation. The drinking age here is 18. If you can vote, you can drink. If you can sign up for a lifetime's worth of crushing student debt, you should be allowed to drink. You need some alcohol to go along with that. Thanks for the 9 months, 7 crosses. I appreciate that. Welcome back. It's one of those. I guess they're about to crank this up to 2 here. What about smoking? I have more negative feelings towards smoking than drinking, honestly. Just because, like, when people drink in moderation, it doesn't really impact me as a person. But even when people even smoke in moderation, it still smells really bad. Perilous Vault. That's a Magic card. All right, so they're at 11. I'm currently, so we assume they block our 2 biggest things. They're currently taking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could put them to 1. That's right? That math works out. So I can Fervent Champion onto here. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this exiles, it doesn't... This exiles, it doesn't destroy. So Dauntless Bodyguard doesn't help. So I guess it's my stance on smoking meat. I think it's fine. I think it's fine in moderation. I think people who use it and drive while under the influence should deserve DUIs that they get. I think it should be legal and it should be taxed. I was very happy to see Illinois legalize weed this year. The war on drugs is actually a war on poverty. Let's make no mistake about that, Mr. Joe Biden. The war on drugs was a mistake. All right, so green ramp. Should I just click submit? I feel like I just click submit, right? It's just like a run them down matchup. I think this matchup's okay for us, like as that game just showed. I'm pretty sure we just click submit. When is Oko being banned in Legacy? I'd be kind of surprised if it ever gets banned there. How hot have we been running? Medium hot. Our first two matches were against the red mid-range deck that's been going around. I think that matchup's incredibly challenging for this archetype. Red mid-range just eats up these small creature decks. All the 6-spell hands tend to look good, huh? Can I have the 7 back? Do you think if I ask nicely, they'll give me my 7 back? All right, so here's a how greedy do we want to be question. I think I put back Battlefield Forge because with Stormfist Crusader on 2, I'm pretty likely to hit another land. You know, famous last words. Famous last words, Stormfist Crusader means we're likely to draw land. How would you feel about doing a top 5 favorite cards per set video when a set comes out? Maybe something like that's more useful than a full set review. I don't know, it's just tough. I have a hard time making all of the type of content I want to make at any given point, just because there's so many decks I want to play and build. So like taking time away from like doing my core content to do any extras has an inherent amount of risk, because like making new content that's different could potentially be less profitable and thus a bad use of my time, if that makes sense. It's part of the reason why I stopped writing weekly, because it was just hard to make time to write weekly while also maintaining the quality of what I do here. All right, so I think we tournament grounds, and then we marshal, and we smack them for 3. Top 5 unplayable mythics. Chat will make me craft anyways. Number 1 cards I will craft and play a ton. That was a turn 3 Cavalier. That is correct. The opponent's archetype very consistently plays 2 mana sources every turn for the first 3 turns. This is my opponent's 4th turn and they have 7 mana. Hey, Bloodbath, thank you for the 1.5 years of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You know, if you made a video of you reading your article, that would be better. Okay, well... Hey, Fire Emblem, thank you for the 12 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. So they only have one card left in their hand. I basically can't beat Ulamog or Ugin, so we're just not even going to think about that. I think I play Acclaimed Contender here, try and find a 1-drop, and then my plan for next turn is to be able to draw a land, play Marshal, and then also play Embercleave and potentially kill them inside of combat. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Dauntless Bodyguard here, and I'm going to shock this in and play the Dauntless Bodyguard. And then even if I miss on the land next turn, I can actually Thalia's Lieutenant plus Embercleave. But we are trying to sweat some bullets here. They have a lot of cards that do just end the game and we can no longer win, so we're just hoping they don't have it. Can I pay for or bump a deck list with singles? What do you mean? Like Magic singles? It's actually... Oh, shillings? Do you mean shillings? If shillings, yes, you can bump decks with shillings. You cannot add... You can only add new decks with the Shillionaire option, though. Hey, Eugene. Thank you for the 12 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. So... I think I'm supposed to dodge for one more turn here, huh? I think I go Lieutenant, Lieutenant. And then hope for the best. What do you get if you're a Shillionaire? There should be a command. Hey, Cold Shoulder, thanks for the 17 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. So if we find an untapped land next turn, we get to Marshal and then Embercleave. They're getting to draw a lot of cards here, though. I am right-click conceding to Ugin, probably right-click conceding to Ulamog as well, just to set expectations. Again, the green ramp deck, in my experience, doesn't really have bad matchups so much as it just has bad draws. And their deck does have a lot of air in it, so they could just have a bad draw here. For 4 Radiant Fountains is really, really good. We're actually going to be playing Green Ramp, the opponent deck we're currently playing. It's actually going to be the deck we're going to be playing next year. It's looking like they've just got a bunch of bricks again. So looking for an untapped land here. Perfect. Marshal, Marshal, Marshal. All right, I don't think we can sweat bullets anymore at this point. Every turn, we're more and more likely to lose that race, so I'm just going to attack with everything and hope they block it away. That means they die. All right, 15. Yeah, math is not for us. You're not the one on blocking duty. Yeah, so this is the hope. They put a 1/1 in front of a 7/7. Just kill them with Temur Battle Rage. Battle Rage. Cleave ho! So they're taking 6 here. So I'll put this here. This will trample for 4, and then it'll hit for another. So this is hitting for 12. So this is 12 plus 6. Okie doke. Don't call it a comeback. Like I said, I think this archetype's fine. The first couple of matchups were tough matchups. Found our way back to a burrito matchup. Yeah, let's try and knock you into big red for a third time. Would be ideal. Is Achilles a huge addition to this archetype? Is that card a knight? If it's not a knight, it's not castable on tournament grounds. It's also not very good against Goblin Chain Whirler, potentially. Sounds good, Fox. I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Landon, thank you for the 2 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think there's a real possibility we're supposed to mulligan a hand with no 1-drop on. This is actually close. The fact that it has perfect mana, I think, means we're supposed to keep it, but sick. Hashtag never didn't have it. Hashtag being on the draw is great. It doesn't cast Lieutenant. That's fair. It technically doesn't have perfect mana. It doesn't cast Lieutenant. Okay. Hopefully our Stormfist Crusader lives and gets to draw some lands here. Yeah, this should hopefully get us Lieutenant. Hey, Yordle Shock, thank you for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people you can send that to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for shipping it my way this month and keeping me employed. I appreciate the Bezo bucks. Look at that. Nothing but net. All right, I think I'm just supposed to Marshal here and then be really sad. Regardless of what I do, I can't double spell. So, like, Rankle's going to, like, put us in the ground next turn, unfortunately. Hey, thank you for the 10th month, Vernash. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Rankle means they hit me for 6 to 7 here and then trade my Marshal for Scrounger. Murderous Rider, also not great for me. So we're hoping to draw another untapped land here so I can double spell. Yeah, it was the same as the build we played with 4 empty in the board. Meatballs! Thank you for the biddies. I assume that's for the Grixis Madness deck. Noted. I appreciate the support. No blocks. Stormfist plus Mana Confluence here in an aggressive matchup. Could be a bit of a liability. This is probably a matchup where Stormfist comes out for, like, Deck in Stones and other stuff. They're just playing Murderous Rider here. That seems good for us. Couldn't play the rest of their hands pretty bad. How large is an MTGO install? I actually don't know offhand. I think I want to take Dauntless Bodyguard as just a good cheap blocker here. Lets me use my mana this turn, ideally. We'll protect Stormfist Crusader here. This gives me decent blocks next turn. I mean, the arena install size is only going to grow endlessly as they add more cards, right? So it's like adding more and more animations with every set. I think I'm just going to go ahead and trade this here. With Stormfist Crusader hammering my life total, I don't think I can take another hit. I bought Call of Duty last night. It's 175 gigs. Wow, paying 3 life to draw a card is absurd. That seems real good for us. What if I attack them with everything here? They block just 1. I put Embercleave on another one. It deals like 10, 13, but they gain 2. I'm going to attack with just Stormfist to start here. To see if they block. Because if they double block, we'll cleave them. And if they don't block, I'll just Dauntless Bodyguard. Malarian, thank you for the 19 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I believe Moto does download a lot on the fly. Moto also doesn't have animations, though. It's just static images, so it's a pretty big difference. Double strike the lifelink. I don't have any lifelink creatures. The Summoning Sickness animation is pretty slick. You're not. It's something. It's something. Well, the good news is Rankle's discard doesn't matter here. And I believe this Embercleave is going to kill them next turn. I guess they could find a removal spell. If they find a Fatal Push, or I guess I could also cleave Thalia's Lieutenant, though, that I got protected by Bodyguard. So the application actually run at like 10 frames per second. This is not a video game. So one thing that's worth noting is that part of the reason why I can run Magic Online in a virtual machine, but you can't run other games in virtual machines, is that Magic Online doesn't use your GPU. It's a 100% CPU-driven application. It is not a video game. Yeah, they were good bands, Aaron. I would like if they'd give us some toys back. But it's a start. Yeah, fun fact, you actually can't window capture Moto the way it's rendered, which is really funny. That's actually one of the upsides to streaming Moto in a virtual machine, is I can window capture the virtual machine. So like, I can do other stuff on my desktop usually and not have you all see it. Because like, you know, that's how this works. Each player discards a card, each player draws, sure. Full Flame, thank you for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Dauntless Bodyguard plus this Lieutenant should likely be lethal. Especially if we find another cheap creature to put into play and find like a Lord here will be in an absurd spot. Alright, and then we just attack at this point. It's a paper simulator. That's definitely accurate, Hugh. Thank you for the biddies. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday wherever you're at. I didn't play out the second Venerable Knight here, because if I play this Knight out and they kill one of my creatures, I won't be able to cast this for 2 mana, which means I lose. Yeah, getting to see some of the power of Embercleave with Lieutenant here for sure. Tournament Grounds makes red mana for equipment spells. I would be kind of surprised if Pioneer in its entirety was on Arena in less than 3 years. I would be very impressed with their rate of development if it was sooner, closer than 3 years out. Deckenstone's great here. Giant Killer is not. I think I probably want Conclave Tribunal. I feel like I don't want Stormfist Crusader. I would be impressed if Arena's around in 3 years. That's another question too. Like, you know, is Arena a long-term application for them? I hope it is. I hope it is, but there's a chance it's not. What do we think of this board plan? I like boarding in some card advantage. I like having some spot removal. Maybe I'm supposed to go all in on Frenzy and cut this other contender. It could also be right to cut a cleave. Just because these can clunk up in our hand like they did last game. I know it eventually won us the game there, but I feel like these matches slow down and become more interactive post-board, so Embercleave's less likely to be good if they're keeping our board in check. Jigget, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Will the sacred text be true? Will Moto outlast the heat death of the universe? Almost certainly. The hamsters that power the Magic Online servers might not survive the heat death of the universe, but the Moto source code will live on. I have the utmost confidence that the Moto source code will endure. Zene, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Hoaglandia. If you're one of the many people out there in the world like Zene who has Amazon Prime, if you link your Amazon account to your Twitch account, you get Twitch Prime included with that for free. And it gives you a free channel subscription every single month to a channel of your choice here on Twitch. If you have that, even if you don't want to use it here, make sure you go and drop it off somewhere on Twitch every single month. Kind of think of it as taking some dollars from Jeff Bezos and giving them to someone here on Twitch. Lord knows we could use it more than he does. Moto will gain sentience. So, opponent has a strong curve here. Our curve's okay, but the fact that we're on the draw might mean we're a little bit too slow this game. That being said, if we draw an untapped land in our next 2 turns, curving 1-drop, 2-drop, Marshal, double 2-drop could be very good. I think from a pure gameplay experience, I definitely enjoy Arena a lot more than Magic Online. However, from a competitive play experience, Wizards of the Coast decisions have made it very clear that if your goal is to play Magic digitally competitively, the client you are supposed to be playing is Magic Online. That's just, they can say whatever they want to say, but their actions say that. And actions speak much louder than words. Alright, we're losing this race. We're going down to 4 here. This is our last match with this deck. Maybe I should have pumped the brakes last turn. I guess I'm technically not dead on board, huh? Do I just pass here? Yeah, I don't want to die to a removal spell. Yeah, dead to Rankle, for sure. So, something worth noting here, too, when we're pumping the brakes in this combat, these two creatures can't block for them. I got you, Eugene. All right, so here's Marshal. What happens when I attack with everything? So when I attack with everything, they go block this, take 8. So I think the play here is attack for 6. Because then I'm not dead to a single removal spell. However, they are going to get to draw an extra card with Castle, which means they have 2 shots at Rankle to kill us. So I need to hit with this because I need to like actually close the game up before they peel Rankle, but we have to have a sweat for another turn here. Nah, I think that couldn't be further from the truth, Kudos. I would be very surprised if any of the floundering with Arena is some kind of grand scheme and not just incompetence. As is often the case, never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by incompetence. I think there's a very real chance they just don't have the resources they need, or don't have staff that are capable of doing what needs to be done, or don't have management that allows their staff that are capable to do what they need to do. Yeah, especially with Wizard of the Coast. I think a lot of people, especially competitive-minded players, often, I would believe that arena and digital offerings are eventually going to eat the competitive Magic circuits, at least as far as Wizards' competitive Magic circuits are concerned. But I also think they don't really need competitive Magic for paper Magic to be successful. Competitive paper Magic has always been a very, very small portion of paper Magic. Embercleave was a real good draw here. They might be dead even without the cleave. If they have Mutavault plus a removal spell here, are they still dead? They like chump block this, kill this. They're still taking 8, 9, 10 exactly. Yeah, so they need double removal here. Yeah, I don't really have an interest personally in diversifying into Runeterra, but I think Runeterra existing will hopefully be good for kicking WotC in the pants and saying, hey, this isn't just free money, you have to work for it, because there's other competitors out there that are gonna beat you to the punch otherwise. Thanks for the 3 months, Danich, you're not wrong. In their defense, they did adjust how their ban list works to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. Okay, so you're still dead? Even if they have another removal spell there, they still die to cleave, right? Paying $20 to play Brawl for... Is it $20? I thought it was $10. I guess I'm not familiar. I also play enough that I just have gold sitting around, I suppose. Like, I think I have like 90k gold saved up. Alright, anywho. Mardu Knights. I think the red matchup is bad, and I don't think there's anything meaningful you can do to make the red matchup better with this archetype. I think similar to when we played this archetype in Historic, I'm not sure the black cards are really worthwhile. So in Historic, we played a straight red-white build, and I really liked that. And I kind of feel like I would like to try that here too. Like, these Stormfists could easily be another Worthy Knight, another Giant Killer, another Acclaimed Contender, maybe main deck Stone, maybe main deck Experimental Frenzy, maybe main deck Conclave Tribunal, stuff like that. Stormfist Crusader was good in a variety of spots, but I'm not sure it's worth playing fewer basics and Mana Confluence to get to play this. So like, for example, if you don't play the black splash, these courtyards just become basic planes. These mana confluences become battlefield forges, etc. M. Graham, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, anywho, we've got 2 more Pioneer decks coming up today. We are all in on Moto for today, because we'll be doing a bunch of Arena at the end of the week with the new standard set dropping. So we are going to be doing some Mono Green Ramp and then some Jeskai Ascendancy to close things out today. Did I not import the Ascendancy list? At any rate, I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while we get set up for the next one. We'll be back in just a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.